Oh my goodness. You know, I showed you guys the money printer chart from Israel. Well, I did it wrong. I should have started with ground beef or even chicken. But let's just start with ground beef for example. In the last 35 years or so, the price of ground beef went up about 400%. And you think 400% in 30 years, that's not so bad. I can pay for that. I mean, I've studied hard, I'm getting promotions at work. That's not so bad. What I needed to do is show you how this compares to actual money printer activities in American dollars and then the Israeli dollars. But to do that, I have to actually give you an apples to apples comparison of, is this beef that you used to buy here, or your dad used to buy, your mom used to buy back in 1987, the same beef that you get right now? Let's do that. But instead of beef, we're going to work with chicken because we've got this really well thought out tweet. He says, it used to take a year to grow a chick into a chicken. Then it dropped to 14 weeks. Then it dropped to 12 weeks. And he was like, holy shit, how is this even happening? So he goes on to say, when I started doing this 15 years ago, I told people how alarming it was that they were getting a chick to market in 4 months instead of a year. And then it went from 18 weeks to 16 weeks to 14 to 12 weeks. And now they're getting chickens there in literally 8 weeks. Not a year, but 8 weeks. And he says, how is this even possible? Well, what accounts for the change? The trick is in the field, when a modern farmer buys eggs, he buys fertilized eggs and signs a contract to buy the food only from the egg supplier itself. And these are big multinational companies like. He also signs a contract that he will not try to find out what's in the food. What the hell? So he can actually he can actually tell everybody, this is non-GMO chicken. This is not, I didn't shoot any hormones into this chicken. I didn't genetically alter the chicken. I'm just, and then you can't talk about the food. Because why? You're not allowed. It's proprietary. No, we don't give them hormones. We don't tell you what and the government only accepts it, but enforces
the
that.
Egg to the market. When I first started doing this 15 years ago, I told people how alarming it was that we were getting a chick to market in 4 months instead of a year. And then it went from 18 weeks to 16 weeks to 14.
So now we go back to this chart. This beef that you're paying for, that's 400% more expensive than your mom used to pay for it back here, isn't actually the same beef that your mom used to buy back here. But okay, so let's say I'm spending 20 times more money on chicken or beef that's only about 10% really beef. That's okay because I studied really hard, I got a degree, and I got 3 promotions, and I can still afford beef. And then I'm like, let's look at the American money printer. Can you really? The beef that you're paying for may cost you 400, 500% more, and you're only getting 10% of, so you're getting 90% less beef. So you do 10 times 400, so you're paying 40 times more, 40 times more for the same little beef that you get, and yet in the same period of time, you've got, what is this? Right up here, that's 1,000. They printed 1,000% more money in the same period of time. So not only are you paying 4 times more for 90% less beef, which effectively costs you $40 or 40 times more, but they're also charging you 10 times more. So you're literally paying 400. You're literally paying 400 times more for the same amount of beef that your mom used to put on the table 35 years ago. You're paying 400 times more. And then everyone's like, okay, but I put my kids through college and now they're PhDs, and one of my kids started a .com SaaS, and he's got an AI algorithm that he's selling to Google, so we can afford that. And then enter Israel. Israel starts printing money and then injects it into the American economy, and everyone's like, holy shit. And Israel is asking you to hold their beer. Bloop, gone.